We asked Erich in the prayer of repentance, what does the we refer to? Is this the general we? We as humanity? He said, no, we is you and Baba. So Baba is there before the God in human form is before the formless, making an appeal with us to be forgiven. I've got a great quote. I'm going to read something that Mani wrote, or maybe that she just spoke it out and it was transcribed. You see, Baba told us about sound. Where does sound go? Where does any kind of sound go? Laughter, tears, singing, crying, fighting, bombs, thunder, every conceivable kind of sound there is. Sound, like anything else, cannot go. Baba says, where can it go? So it collects. And finally, that collective force of sound is a sound. Sound is a force. So when all that collective force of sound is used for the spiritual construction, spiritual benefit, it also means material destruction. That is why even if you say the prayer, saying it aloud, saying it together, it is a great thing. It is a benefit. Baba would have us do it. Not always would we sing the prayer with fully concentrated minds. It doesn't matter. The sound helps. That is why in India, when a woman is pregnant, they will read aloud from the Gita. The vibrations even reach the child in the womb. Sound is a tremendous thing, and we use it so carelessly, so negligently. Maybe that's just part of it. I think there's another part. I remember Erich saying that one day they were with Baba, and Baba said, people, I'm going to paraphrase it, but people talk all day. Where does the sound go? Whole cities are speaking and everything. Where does it go? And they all gave answers. The Mandali in Mandalay Hall, and Baba said it collects in clouds that hang over whole cities, so that you know how you can go into a room, and if someone's had an argument there, you can go into that room and you can feel that. Well, but Baba said that sound hangs in the air, in the atmosphere, and Baba said my silence is to absorb that sound so that you can hear the voice of your own soul. Take away all the static so you can hear the sound of your own soul. So it's interesting because Upasi Maharaj, when he saw Baba the last time in 1941, he begged Baba to stop his silence, knowing probably how crushing it is to take on all this humanity's noise on his body. That was one of the explanations Baba gave for the purpose of his silence, why he is silent. It's not like a spiritual exercise.
That wouldn't apply to vibrational music, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
it would apply to that too. I mean, in terms of, it seems to me that a certain frequency of sound, like the music that is devotional, or it hits us in different places, but maybe it just goes up there too. It all just sits there.
I mean, wow. It probably makes the sound much more bearable.
Yeah, it might be.
And kind prayers, of I bet prayers probably dissolve the pollution of sound.
Yeah. It really impacted me when I heard that Baba said the we, or Erich said the we was Baba. because I always wondered why I was saying we repent. And I always wanted to change it to I repent. But once I heard it was we, then it made the impact was way more significant to me. Way more. Yeah.
Yeah, because Baba would stand there with him making the prayer of repentance to the infinite God.
As I awake to face a new day, your name's always on my lips. Oh Baba, I say, and remember this way, that all I will meet is as you wish. So I go forth, a heart full of love, a man who knows no fear. But the day unfolds, and it takes its toll as I face a world that's lost in its tears. And so I go down deep to that well that you keep, that eternal spring of truth. It's not to be bought or bartered or wrought. This love's only comes from you, with your blessings. Blessings raining down in my heart, with your blessings, blessings raining down in my heart. Tamir Baba Ki Jai.
Thank you, Ray. Beautiful.
Thank you for asking. Jai Baba.
Yeah.
I have something we all know, but I'm sure we all have read at some point or other, but let me read that again. This is from this book, which is really short. Oh, Meher Baba Calling, okay. The title of this is I May Give You Nothing. So Baba goes, I may give you more, much more than you expect, or maybe nothing. And that nothing may prove to be everything. So I say, come with open hearts to receive much or nothing from the Divine Beloved. Come to receive not so much of my words, but of my silence. God does everything, and in another sense, does nothing. Although God does nothing, those who approach Him with love and surrender, derive everything that matters in the spiritual realm. You are one of my rocks on whom I can depend. I can promise you definitely that you will always be near me until you become one with me. What more do you want? What is there to want? I do not talk much to you, for it is self understood. You know it, it is within. I'm sure he is speaking to somebody here. I really don't know the context, at least the last part of it. But that's the beauty. I mean, a lot of times we go, at least I did, you go and expect something to happen at the samadhi. And for me, so far, nothing has happened. So I keep reading this particular thing, and I feel good about it. So.
Yeah, isn't that on the sign there at the Pilgrim Center?
Yeah. MPC, there is, yeah.
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say we are receiving wonderful so much during this period. But someone asked Dr. Duncan, what have you gained all these years with Meher Baba? He said, it's not what I've gained, but what I have lost in the form of excess mental baggage.
Right.
There's a similar story with Erich, right? Where someone asked Erich, what have you gained in being with Baba? And Erich brought the question to Baba, like, what am I supposed to say? And Baba said, I don't know the exact wording, but the same concept. It's more what you have lost than what you've gained.
Yeah. Yeah, we're being bankrupted. Or we're being embezzled. all of our savings are getting embezzled.
Tian, you were saying something?
Each time I would enter the samadhi, I would become, I felt like I'm losing a great deal of sanskars, which I would bring from this crazy country. I would feel relieved and lighter each time.
Yeah.
It would always happen then.
Yeah, it's the atmosphere is so refined that it dissolves a lot of impressions just in walking in, even if you haven't been determined to give them away. They just dissolve. But then there's some behind that come up. Some of the stuff has to be handed over manually.
Hey, here is something, Jeff. I mean, short one, I hope. This one, I don't know if it is from Baba, but I'm sure you would recognize. It goes like this. This is from another book. It says The Flower of Contemplation by Ada Francis Schifrin, I think.
Ada Schifrin, yeah.
Yes. Here, I wonder if he's quoting Baba or... but let me read that. Those who would realize me must have intense longing for union with me, unassailable peace of mind, unfailing humility, desperate search, unquestioning faith, unswerving fidelity, control, which is born of love, the spirit of selfless service, which is unfettered by attachment to results, thorough-going renunciation, spontaneous obedience, wholehearted surrender, self-giving love. That's a lot, but that's what here it is. Do you guys recognize if this is from Baba or from somewhere else? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't recognize that, but
yeah,
it's definitely everything that Baba is asking of us.
Yeah.
A little bit higher degree than we're used to. Yeah, let's have a few moments of silence. Jai Baba. Okay, so I'll just say a few words. Last week we read where Darwin talked about eradicating worry. We're on that same chapter. And this was mainly focused on these first section on giving our worries to Baba. And I remember back in the maybe the early 70s where Darwin brought out something he had written as Baba was dictating something, and the quote was, "Don't worry, let me do the worrying. I enjoy working things out. There's no need for you and I worrying. If you are going to worry, then I won't worry." And when he read that, I my approach back then was I didn't want to bother Baba with my worries and my problems and my issues. I'll work those out myself, and I don't want to really bother him about it. But then there's that line in there, don't worry, let me do the worrying. I enjoy working things out. That was an eye-opener. So I realized I got to give him my worries. And then in the next part of these next sections, where Darwin is talking now not so much of giving our worries to Baba. He's talking about now sublimating our worries through cultivating cheerfulness. And I don't know, probably Bill and you remember him quoting the Bible where he would say, "Be of good cheer." These are Jesus's words. "Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." And all this work culminates in a causeless happiness, what he called, I don't know if Baba uses that phrase, but a causeless happiness. A happiness that's independent of any stimuli, inner or outer. That's a nice place, and I think he enjoyed that place, and may we enjoy it by the end of this session. So,
Jeff,
yes.
Please give that Mark Twain quote. It's so good, that one about.
I've been through many trials and tribulations in this life, and most of them never happened. And that's so true. I never heard anything that Baba said about Mark Twain, but I think he would have certainly enjoyed his humorous insights.
Page 85 of the book, page 50 of the PDF, the section called Antidote to the Worry Syndrome.
I wanted to add before I get in, I have a problem working with somebody else's worry.
Don't worry about that, Jack.
No. We must keep our minds clear about what we are programming. Our subconscious mind is like a giant, all-powerful genie that complies with our general thought patterns. If we worry, the genie says, "Yes, master," and it magically produces something for us to worry about. We therefore think, my worry was justified because the very thing I worried about happened. It creates a syndrome where we continue to worry and something worrisome appears. The antidote to worry is trust and faith in God. Therefore, in order to overcome the worry, we have to conjure up more faith, more trust. Our hearts have to become stronger in faith instead of quavering in worry and fear. By the same token, worry is the opposite of faith and trust. So working to eradicate worry is also a way of accentuating that is, increasing faith. It is a reverse method of developing faith. Counteracting worry through building our faith and trust opens up a vast new area of possibilities for self-improvement within, and also in our outer life. But mainly it opens up the way for spiritual unfoldment, for growing closer to God, to reality. Mayor Baba said, live more and more in the present, which is ever beautiful and stretches away beyond the limits of the past and the future. If at all you must worry, let it be how to remember me constantly. This is a worthwhile worry about, because it will bring about the end of worry. Think of me more and more, and all your worries will disappear into nothing they really are. My will works out to awaken you to this. If we really believe that Baba is our dearest friend, then he is omnipotent, and that he is on our side and working for us. We will stop worrying and will trust him. As he said to us in 1962, what is there to worry about? Nothing, so don't worry. Let Baba do the worrying. He enjoys working things out. There is no need for both you and Baba worrying. If you are going to worry, then Baba won't worry. So stop worrying and leave everything to Baba and to take care of. When you do not worry, it becomes Baba's responsibility. By putting our full trust in Baba, we are placing our lives completely in his hands and daring not to worry. This is something we can learn to do. This can be a part of our programming work. Thank you.
I know he used to get on Jean, his wife, because she would kind of program something. Oh, it's not going to be, we don't want to eat at that restaurant. It's just, this and that. And he would kind of smilingly say, now, Jean, now don't program a bad time. Remember that? Yeah. But even in little ways, he was very sweet about it. But yeah.
I just had a couple of things that I thought were interesting. The first is that that he proposes doing something instead of just not doing something, and so I like, rather than just stop worrying, which seems hard to me, to like cultivate more trust and faith seems like the positive thing that you should be doing. And I also think it's interesting because it's like when I think, I'm like trying to imagine like Mara or like money or someone that like, that they weren't worrying, they didn't have that issue, and it seems connected to like desirelessness, like that they weren't worried about their desires becoming fulfilled. Like, is that what a worry comes from, a desire? But he doesn't focus on that. It's almost just like, just stay with the love and the trust. And so it's kind of simple.
Yeah. He was, very much a positive thinking was very much a part of Darwin's approach. And then you get a different programming, and then things work out, not because they look like they would work out, but because you had faith that they would work out, that they do work out. Somehow unexpected things enable it to work out. That's kind of, yeah, beautiful.
And Rosalie?
I certainly wouldn't say that the Mandali didn't worry. I'm sorry. And it's easy to say that they didn't worry, but I don't go for that. I mean, I think of any of them sitting there with Mara. She was so occupied with remembering Baba, I would say worry was not in her. You just didn't feel worry around her, but I imagine the others did, you know, and right now, worry is worse than the pandemic. If there's a pandemic, it's worry, you know. So, I mean, this is a very important chapter, you know. It's like the whole thing of it, you know. Sure, you want to have more faith, and you just can't get it in a snap, you know. I mean, Baba's calling card to me was "Don't worry, be happy," and I thought it was the greatest thing I ever heard. It's fabulous, you know.
But I think what Cindy said, though, I never felt the Mandalay had any deep-seated worry. They had like superficial worry, you know, like, oh, well, you got to catch that bus, you got to run. But I never felt they had any deep-seated worry. They had a solid faith in life and in Baba. From that standpoint, I feel like they, I mean, in observing them all those years. Even Balna too, who worried, he was a great worrier, but it was more on a superficial level, you know. That was my feeling.
Well, he gave Phyllis Frederick a worry operation. He took hold of her wrist, and she did say that she could feel this current go through, and she never seriously worried.
Again.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really. I mean, that's the only operation I want to sign up for.
You know, I only can speak from my own experience. That's about it. But worry to me is loss of control, you know, mentally inside oneself. And a lot of people I talk with about it have the impression that if you worry, you won't be able to do something.
Right, yeah.
And that's false for me. And also acknowledging that there is a certain loss of control, it doesn't mean that you don't care about what the next step is going to be. And I've learned that you just go ahead and do the best you can with it. And the worry itself goes away because you eventually realize thoroughly that there's no sense worrying about the fact that you have no control over the situation.
Good. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments. I mean, and I could be remembering this incorrectly, but I thought Mani suggested that what she did is that, you know, she gave the worry to Baba, and then it would come back, and then she'd give it again, and then it would come back, and she'd give it again. I recall her saying something like that, and I could be incorrect, but that's what I recall. So I didn't get the impression from her, kind of as Rosalie said, that she didn't worry. I don't know the depth of those worries, Jeff, like what you were suggesting, but that it was the repetition of constantly giving it again and again to Baba, that it wasn't just like a piece of cake. I don't have any worries.
Yeah.
And so because the reason why I remember that is I then tried to start doing that myself. And in conjunction with what Jack just said, I noticed, like, I had an episode with a member of my family not too long ago, and I did my best to remedy it, and it just didn't remedy very easily. So I had really no choice. It was like, okay, this is one that I can't, there's nothing I know to do about it, so I'm going to give it to Baba. I mean, not that I wouldn't normally, but that I just had to have that faith. And I don't know the rest. It seems to be resolving itself. I mean, the information I get from life shows me that it is resolving itself. And what happened is, like, I know it had to be Baba because I couldn't do anything, and so I didn't do anything. And for me, then, if I internalize that, okay, I gave that incident, that I made an error and I tried to remedy it and I couldn't. So I had to leave it for Baba to see what he would do with it, what Baba would do with it. And it seems to be that Baba's working on it very beautifully. And so that gives me more faith and trust for the next thing, for the thing that I maybe think I do have control over and want to worry it into being a certain way instead of trusting. And so that kind of experience where I know that it was Baba, it was clearly not me, and Baba's working through me and through others, and that gives me more of that deeper faith and trust to know that Baba is doing the work. And so I'm just grateful for that and appreciative of that. So that's sort of my own personal experience.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, the phrase that caught my attention and it really matches the experience that I have had. It really aligns with what Jack and Janet have said. Darwin says that we have to be daring not to worry. And the daring not to worry has been my experience, because when you don't worry, you are basically giving up the control that you're imagining that you have on manipulating whatever things that are happening. Everything is in imagination, like Baba said. So, that imagination is all about trying to find some control over some future event that might happen. And giving up that control is what I think Darwin is referring here when he says daring not to worry. It means that don't think about controlling that something might happen in the future. Just give it to Baba to take care of that.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. And Bill?
Yes, I just want to say that I found very helpful in my life to use affirmations every day, especially in the morning, the way I start my day. I have a whole slew of affirmations I use. There are so many out there, and I think even if you're not living those affirmations, the more you say them, the more you ingrain them in your consciousness. You move towards that point where you start having that great faith. You know, for example, all things are working together for the good right now, Baba. I see all things through the eyes of faith and trust in you. That's one that I use every day. I choose to be cheerful. I choose to be happy. You know, making that conscious choice, and then when things that come up that rub against that, I try to remember that. And it doesn't always work, but I just, you know, everything is in divine order in my life. Everything is going according to the divine plan. Everything is in divine order in my neighborhood, my city, my state. Everything is in divine order in India. Everything is perfect. Everything is going according to the divine plan. And every day, and maybe throughout the day, you know, with remembrance of Baba included, I find the affirmations tremendously helpful to me. I can't speak. I don't know if any of you other folks use them or not, but.
Yeah, they know the affirmation, that whole process, the power of affirmation is very much a part of Darwin's approach. One of the things I had to give up on, which is a form of worry, is you can never set, many situations you cannot set the record straight. You know, someone's got a wrong, you know, incorrect opinion, and there's nothing you can do about it. And to worry about it is just a waste of time, you know. But it's frustrating when you know someone takes something the wrong way, or and you try to do something about it and try to remedy it, but it's not going to happen. And just to be able to let go of it and hope that it'll come out in the wash somehow. Baba will take care of it, but that's frustrating, you know.
Good evening. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. So one thing is Meher Prasad. I mean, he always says such wonderful things. The problem is a lot of people don't understand that word imagination. I am just beginning, like at the very beginning stage. And so what in the world is that? And I mean, really, to understand it, you have to read things like God Speaks and the Nothing and Everything and the Infinite and all this stuff. And to understand that concept, I think, is not easy. And to understand it as distinct from what infinite mind, infinite intelligence, all that, it can be confusing. I'm not saying one shouldn't be doing all those things, and definitely affirmations are great, although I've never been one to do affirmations in that way, though I say prayers and blessings and things like that, and try to be cheerful. The other thing is, the thing I used to have a problem with a long time ago when affirmations became a big deal, you know, and everybody was doing affirmations, affirm this and affirm that, and get the list of affirmations. I'm just like overwhelming. Is that for me, I am a realist. I'm a pragmatist. You know, I like facts and science and things like that. And of course, I also love poetry and singing and music and the arts. So I'm like a mixture. But it's really hard for me to say something that is not true. You know, it feels like a lie to me. So I've had to. I guess it was so hammered into me about the importance of truth and not lying and all that, that anything that is not of truth, I kind of have a hard time with. So that to me has been I have used affirmations, and I think it's wonderful. And actually, I'd love it if Bill could put into the chat the 2 specific affirmations he did right at the beginning, because I think they're very helpful. Anyway, I'm just bringing this up because these are some of things that I've had problems with, obstacles with, when doing those kinds of things.
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah, I mean, the point of wanting to be realistic is our idea of being realistic. Is it a worldly realistic, or is it the deeper realisticness? That's you know, because I know Darwin used to say that if you buy into the accepted and conventional idea of cause and effect, it'll take forever to get anywhere. But then you can buy into another spiritual cause and effect, you might say, that where things happen magically and faster. And that you don't have any real proof of that, but if you act as if it is true, it works out for you. You know, it's one of those things. But that's
I have experienced that. I think it's hard for people who have not been exposed to Baba and the thinking and the concepts. I don't know that it's that easy. I mean, a lot of people might not have any idea of what reality is in the sense that Baba talks about it. And I know that we are Baba lovers, so it's different. But I'm just saying some of the, to me, obstacles for obstacles are those that, if it isn't truthful, sometimes I can't say it. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to say something. Yeah. I'm not sure that I'm being clear.
Yeah. No, I think we know. I think we know that dilemma.
So how do people get out of this dilemma? That's a better question. Not that this is an issue, but what do people do to get out of this dilemma? Say you want to say an affirmation. How do you get around your internal self that says, well, I could say that, but it doesn't jive. You're just telling a lie to yourself. So anyway, it doesn't help you when you try to do, you have to believe in the affirmation for it to work.
Yeah. Or have an intuitive understanding of the truth of the affirmation. So you're asserting that in the face of...
A couple of thoughts. For me, it really helps to put into practice picturing sending Baba's infinite love. And that's a participation for me that really seems to make a big difference, seems to deepen my sense of connection with Baba, and seems to help open a doorway for his magic. And I'll use it in all kinds of situations. And to me, in a sense, it's a very powerful affirmation, really. Like if I'm going to be in a meeting with a group, I'll ask Baba to flood in ahead of time, and I'll picture his light and his love just flooding in to everybody, and not with any expectation. Or if there's a misunderstanding with somebody, say, I'll picture sending his love, and that it helps. It seems to help kind of simplify and purify me at the same time, as well as I never know what kind of magical things might take place, because we're, it's an invitation to Baba's infinite love. And then just responding directly about the affirmations as the discussion has been. And I think, Jeff, you've been touching on this, and maybe Ray said it, or Bill. I think even if you don't quite believe it, if you do have faith that maybe there's some truth there, if you keep doing it, or you try it, just try it, keep doing it, and eventually that can become more real. And you can find yourself believing it. So that's my take on it.
Great, Stu. Yeah.
And Janet.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I just want to add on to what you said, Jeff, about truth. I mean, like for me, and what you were saying, Elizabeth, for me to say, I have all the money I ever want, or something like that, or I feel healthy, wealthy, and wise, or something that is more like wishful thinking rather than deeper truth. That kind of affirmation, I find, like you were saying, it doesn't resonate with me, and I just feel like, for me, that's like doesn't work. But say like the statement that you've read numerous times, Jeff, out of Everything and the Nothing about worry, about once your faith in me reaches its zenith, worry will leave forever, blah blah blah. I don't mean blah blah blah. I mean,
right.
That statement. Okay, that to me is a type of affirmation, because it says what I trust Baba is telling the truth there. I sense truth behind it, even though I'm not resonant, even though every cell within my being does not resonate with it by any stretch. It gives me that possibility of the truth of that. And I trust that there's truth there, even though I'm not in total resonance with it. Then for me, that is the kind of affirmation that expands the possibilities of my of life, I guess I'd have to say, life with and in Baba. That expands that. And so, yeah, I understand what you're saying, Elizabeth. And for me, that's the differentiation is wishful thinking versus deeper affirmation of what feels to me to be. I mean, you're reading God Speaks. That whole thing, to me, is an affirmation of truth. And so as you read it, it starts doing something to us. It starts vibrating us on a different level, even though we may not understand it or exactly believe it. That's to me the kind of affirmation that I'm drawn toward. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Let's see.
And Bill?
Yeah, I just found a couple of quotes from Baba here. Baba said, "It's not the paralysis of the body Baba says it is not the paralysis of the body that matters, but of the mind that retards the soul. It's not the paralysis of the body that matters, but of the mind that retards the soul." And he also says, don't suggest to your mind, "I am tired, haggard, depressed, etc." That will make it worse. Always say, "All is well and beautiful, I will be happy." So he's saying, hey, program those things. Say that, counteract, because if you're feeling tired and haggard and telling yourself that, Baba's saying, hey, turn that around, turn it on its head right away, and program that positive stuff. Say those call it an affirmation or just a positive suggestion. Program the mind.
Yeah. So one of the great quotes of Baba's.
Yeah, hi everyone. I wanted to share with you that, I know Darwin, partly I feel wrote this book to help us be in charge of our minds, our subconscious minds. And if anybody's interested, there's a whole science to this from New Thought and Unity School, and I found something that might be interesting. They talk about, I'll share with you, about not just affirmations, but the science of it is called denials and affirmations. And it says denials and affirmations are short, powerful statements of truth spoken silently or audibly to our subconscious mind for the purpose of relaxing the soul and opening ourselves to the flow of divine ideas from spirit. They are written in the present tense and spoken in a relaxed manner. A denial states the powerlessness or impermanence of a situation and thereby prevents our subconscious mind from investing energy in a mistaken belief or Maya maybe around us. Example, no one is lost in spirit. There's no absence of opportunity or intelligence anywhere. Then he says, an affirmation states the truth of a situation and thereby instructs our subconscious mind to focus attention on that which is true and permanent. Example, God's healing life flows through me now. There is the perfect job at the perfect pay open for me right now. Divine order is established in me and in the situation. And it says to use them together to cleanse and build up our consciousness. So there's these groups sometimes online from Silent Unity called affirmation circles, if anybody wants to know about the science of it. It might be somewhat supportive and make it more clear what Darwin's talking about. I know it's difficult to think that we might be in charge of that kind of thing for ourselves. I understand that. And I too am resistant to it. But I think if you work with Baba and you really know that he's in charge anyway, and you work with him in this kind of an exercise that Darwin's helping us understand, it feels a little more right sometimes. So just wanted to share that. Jai Baba.
Yeah, J. Bob, Heidi. That's the dynamic.
And Prakash?
Hey, Jay Baba. Yeah, I thought I'll just share what I feel. Uh, I'm the type to believe what is yours, nobody can take it away. And what is not yours, we can break our heads and it will never come to you. So, with that background, uh, I found things where I should not worry. I mean, I can easily forget about things. I mean, so that's one thing I wanted to share, and that helped me a lot in my daily life. Many a time it pertains to material things, but at times I found that I can stretch it to other areas of thinking too, just mental suffering. But that has not been that easy. But definitely with material things, what is yours, nobody can take it away. What is not yours, you'll never get it. So that definitely helped me in many ways. But I found one more thing here. The second thing which I found is Baba talks about positive forgetfulness and forgiving. Forgiving definitely has not been that easy, at least to me. But I can always forget about things, and that I suppose can help reduce worry in many ways. We can have concern for things, but do not have to worry. Concern will help you do some work to help eliminate whatever is happening. And I think if it is outward of you, I mean, in the sense that if your concern is about others' happiness, then definitely, obviously, we all know it will help. Uh, though it's not always the case with me. I mean, many a time I am concerned about my own problems. But I think, luckily, I found out, at least in my case, forgetfulness comes a little easily for me. And I just let it go. I just let it go quite easily sometimes. And I found my family sometimes saying that you give up too easily. Uh, that's something I should keep in mind. But generally, forgetfulness helps quite a bit. At least that's what I found out. And Baba says here in the supplement in God Speaks, the positive forgetfulness is one in which the mind remains aware of external stimuli but refuses to react to them. And he says positive forgetfulness then is the cure, and its steady cultivation develops in man that balance of mind which enables him to express such noble traits as charity, forgiveness, tolerance, selflessness, and service to others. So that's the second thing. Third thing about, I mean, affirmations that we've been talking about. I think I recall this particular thing that we all know. You become what you think. So apparently there is a way by constantly thinking about affirming something over and over again, you can become that, or at least get that attribute which you're looking for. And I remember having read Upasani's Maharaj statement some time back, wherein he says when the little kids, not knowing what what they're reading, if they keep on repeating these hymns or scriptures and whatever, and they open up in your mind at the right time, when the time comes, you will realize what they're all about. So in that sense, affirmations do help in a big way. That's my thinking.
Yeah. Good. Excellent, Prakash.
And Tina?
Yeah, well, I'd like to believe in the power of affirmations. I've actually written books of affirmations, and yet, like, I don't know if I believe it because, like, look at this situation we're in now with the pandemic. It's so huge. It's so beyond my control.
to write a few affirmations. I don't know. And the thing is, like, in spite of all these affirmations, like some bad things have happened to me. And once in the middle of a really, really bad event, something wonderful happened and I wasn't writing any affirmations. So how do you explain that?
Luck.
Yeah, I'd like to believe, I want to
Yeah.
believe that it's
Yeah.
done into you as you believe, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure I do.
You were conducting your own science experiment.
Yeah.
And Meher Prasad?
This is off topic, but in just a comment, Prakash said forgiveness is hard. That is true, but asking for one is 1,000 times harder for me anyway. That's all.
Yeah. Wait, say that again. Asking for forgiveness from
Is
someone.
is 1,000 times harder than just forgiving someone.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, just on a little different perspective for me. I've been studying Esfandiar and his words quite a bit for some months. And his number one thing, he said, working at loving Baba more and more. And, feeding that love. When you think about it, the beloved God prayer, help us all to love you more and more and more and more and still yet more. Number one, and as Esfandiar asked, what was the main thing about the Prem Ashram? He said, Baba told us to love him. That was the main thing. So just for me, that I think helps feed the fire in a direction inside that I think overarches all of this for me.
Yeah, just swallows up all the worry.
Jay Baba, a while ago, Alan Manukian sent me something, and I think it's very applicable because I do feel in our country and probably the whole world, and certainly our country, we're in a mental civil war. Not quite, shooting each other, but it's to that craziness. It is just like, and I have to say one thing that I've been thankful for in the pandemic is I don't have to talk to people that blow my mind with their beliefs. And that could be in our own group, so it's like, but at any rate, this was so excellent. This happened in 1979. Someone is asking Eric about the Armageddon. Speaking of worry, who wants to be annihilated, right? And Eric answers, and it's just so good what he says. He says, it's a good question. They got Armageddon. He says, the thing is, first of all, for the man of the world, it's a question. It's very terrifying. The very prospect, and naturally, he will be so terrified he wouldn't want to ever talk about it. And if he were to be told about it, then he wouldn't know what to do. Should he continue the way that he should live, or should he not continue? Should he make plans for the future, or should he make plans for his graveyard, or what? Whatever be, you see. So it is terrifying, the prospect. Prospects are very terrifying. And then he says, but for those who have heard of Baba and became aware of what he says so to them, it shouldn't matter anything. They should continue to live as they have been living in thoughts of him, thoughts of Baba, knowing fully well that the destruction, if at all, is to come day after tomorrow. Maybe by his blessings, it will come the next day. We want destruction to come ahead of its time. And I think that's excellent that him point that out, so that it will put an end to all the division and the disagreement, you know, is to a certain proportion that you just want it over, you know. And I just think this is just like a key sentence. We want destruction to come ahead of its time. And that's certainly worry. All the exploitation that is going on in the name of destruction. So destruction means we are not concerned with the destruction of the world or anything of that sort. Why should we concern ourselves with the destruction of creation? Let the Creator, that's his business. We are concerned with ourselves, you see. Unless and until there is destruction within us, how can there be construction, you see? So we are considering our reconstruction, while the world may consider the destruction of the world. So what Baba wants us to do is to continue to live the way we have been living, remembering him, depending upon him from day to day, or from hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second, according to how you remember him. Then depend on him and have nothing to do with the destruction of the world. Well, God will take care about it. The one who has created will naturally should be more concerned with the destruction. Why should we? We are concerned with what applies to us, and that's how he wants us. The sooner the destruction, the better it is for us within us. So we are concerned with this within ourselves, and let the world be concerned with the destruction of the world. And it's not like a subject that's not on people's minds, you know. And, you know, I mean, I live in a neighborhood where they all have guns. I'm not far off from Myrtle Beach, and I mean, and there's the different sides, you know, but they're all gathering guns. I have a neighbor, and he works in a gun place, and they're getting bullets, getting ammo, and it's like, it's disturbing. That's why I like hearing this. It's like borrowing worry, you know, something we can't control, because the difference of opinion in our country is acute. It's acute. So, you know, and it's not like it's over, it's all right. You know, they attacked the Capitol, it's all right now. You know, it's like, you know, so it's all the more reason to just keep depending upon Baba, and that thing of giving it to him, giving it as far as worry, because it's a great time to worry. You know, if you're into worry, if you want to promote worry, it's a great time, you know. But I just found that very helpful. Just
thank you, Rosalie.
You know, you want something to be resolved ahead of time, you know. I mean, it almost calls for patience with how Baba's doing it, you know. And it's like, who among us is that patient? I'm not very patient. Okay. But I thought it was interesting, you know, 1979, that's like so far, you know, so long ago, you know.
Okay, I was going to respond to something else, and it's it has slipped my mind. It was something else that Mayor Prasad said. Oh, I know what it was, about forgetfulness. He said that he finds it harder to ask for forgiveness. And I think that one's harder because, I'm not saying necessarily, I think one reason it could be harder is you have to really humble yourself. So it's not only just asking for forgiveness, it's also having to put your ego aside and humble yourself. And that is not easy. People don't like to feel that they're wrong or there are lots of other reasons. I mean, it can be different for each person, but I think that ego aspect of needing or deciding to say, I'd like your forgiveness, is part of what can make it hard. Although I have found, at least in the last year, that even if I am not, quote, wrong in my own head, that it is better to ask forgiveness of someone who's upset, who even has made a misunderstanding of something you've said or done. It's better to ask forgiveness and to be loving than to continue to say that you're right, or that, to continue either an argument or to continue or to try to explain. The more important thing is to be loving toward that person and help them to feel better.
Excellent. No, that's so true, I find.
And Hugh?
This is an amazingly powerful section in Effort&Grace. And I think that the key to it is, in terms of worry, is when Darwin quotes Baba saying, "Think of me more and more, and all your worries will disappear." I think that's the real key to all of this.
Yeah. And the thing about worry is really about the future. And Baba's asking us to live in the present. We're trying to get some assurances about the future. And, to remember him in the present. I remember asking that, what Darwin quoted there, I asked Merwan Jesawala, live more and more in the present, which is ever beautiful, and stretches away beyond the limits of the past and the future. And I said, Merwan, what does that mean to you? And he said, you will only find Baba in the present. You won't find him in the past or the future. He said, people spend so much time thinking about the past and the future, and they let him slip away right in front of them. So the more we can get into the present. But one of the things that I've done is say, suppose I do have a worry. This is what Baba gave me a hint on years ago, is I can't get rid of the worry about the future, but I can go down and experience the raw emotion of worry without translating it into the future or the past, and just follow the experience of worry. So I remain in the present. I'm not going into the future or the past with it. And Baba kind of gave me a hint to do that, and I do that for a long period sometimes. It won't, in the present I'll try to be giving it to Baba, but it's still there because underlying it is fear. It's one of my core emotions. So it's going to be there, but rather than going into the future with the worry, stay in the present with the worry. If I'm stuck with it. Anyway, that's a hint that Baba gave me years ago.
Rosalie?
Yeah, I was looking at a picture of Erich, and I thought, did Erich worry? And I thought, I think he did worry. He worried. He worried that he would use that worry energy thing to please Baba.
Yep.
Yeah, he focused that, but it is worry, but he focused it on pleasing Baba, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's, exactly true.
And Laurice.
Hi, Jay Baba.
Yeah.
Apropos of what you said about being in the now, I've been reading Sparks by Mayor Baba, and been very drawn to the stuff about time. And I want to read 3 quotes from Baba. There is the eternal now, from the beginningless beginning to the endless end. There is one moment only, the eternal now. He who experiences the eternal now finds all doubts, wounds, everything dissolved like mist, and remains in eternal bliss. There is only one reality. The entire time process is imaginary. The billions of years that have passed and the billions of years that are to pass do not have the value of a second. And here's another one. What happened yesterday? Nothing. What will happen tomorrow? Nothing. All happens now. The eternal now, from the beginningless beginning to the endless end. So and for some reason, I keep being drawn. It's like, right, it's just now. And he's saying, well, we can stay in bliss and not worry if we stay in the now. And then the last comment I want to make is in terms of destruction. One of the last times I saw Bao, I think it was 2014. And it was funny because I got Prasad from him, and he was like, you know, he put the Prasad in my hand, he put his hand around mine, and he went, Happy New Year. And then he said, Happy Amartithi, Happy Baba's birthday. No, he said Happy Valentine's Day, I think, and Happy Baba's birthday. But he also would go, Brahma Vishnu Mahesh, Brahma Vishnu Mahesh. And when Elizabeth was, we meet on Monday nights, and Elizabeth was saying that in God Speaks, he talks about Brahma Vishnu Mahesh, the creator, preserver, and destroyer. And that every single thing, and he said, Baba says in God Speaks, that everything goes through these cycles. If you think of nature, if you think of everything. So, I don't know, maybe in creation, who knows? But it's not for me to figure out, right? It's just for me to be in the eternal now and to be in bliss, if I can stay in the now. So that's it, thanks.
Yeah. Henry Kashouti used to say, an old close one of Bob's, is there any other moment than now? Can anybody get into the future? Let's see if someone can leap into the future or the past. Anyway.
And Meher Prasad.
Yeah, I mean, Rosalie talked about Eruch's worry. I got reminded of this dream he once narrated. I didn't hear this directly from him, but secondhand. So his dream was he and Baba was going up a very steep mountain, and Baba was taking him by the hand all the way up to the top of the mountain. It was very, very high, and they were trekking and going out higher and higher and higher and higher. And finally, they reached the peak of the mountain. And Baba stood there with Eruch and told Eruch, jump. But there was nothing below, it was just empty space, and you cannot even see the bottom. So Eruch jumped. This is all in his dream. He jumped, and as he was going down, around halfway down, he remembered, oh, I left Baba by himself up on the peak. And he woke up. That was his worry.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow. There's the true servant. Wow.
Elizabeth.
Okay, you've got me on to the present and God speaks and what Maurice said. And part of that whole thing, Baba was even talking about the heart going through this creator, destroyer, preserver, and the way we breathe and take air in, and how the heart pumps and then relaxes, etc. I mean, he took it down to the nth degree, to every animal, every insect, every aspect of life. And then the thing about where do the past, the present, and the future come together? Well, my understanding of recent readings of lots of different of the Baba books, Nothing and Everything, God Speaks, in the discourses and various other things, talks about the importance of sleep. And then when we go into the deep sleep state, we rejoin God in the beyond God state. So where there's just absolute stillness, and that in the dream, when we are actually dreaming dreams, that this is when the time is when our sanskaras are kind of coming up from the subconscious to get expressed during the day. So finishing acting out whatever it was that we had left over from past lifetimes throughout evolution and involution, and that in this time you might see something in the future that will come to pass. And so in this state, your past is dissolving and you're creating your future. So, and some of this, I'm not saying all of it, but some of it happens in this sleep state, the sound sleep state, the dreaming state. And of course, I think it's in chapter 8 of God Speaks. There's a whole scenario about the 8 different stages where there are descriptions of an analogy of God in the beyond state, and relating it to man in the deep sleep state, to waking consciousness. Anyway, I just throw that out.
Okay.
Page 86. Be of good cheer.
Be of good cheer. Mayor Baba says, among the many things the aspirant needs to cultivate, there are few that are as important as cheerfulness, enthusiasm, and equipoise. Just as when we worry, we are supplied with worrisome and unhappy circumstance, so too, if we are cheerful and do not choose to worry, we are programming things for us to be cheerful about. When we program good cheer, the causes for it will be supplied. It changes our inner and outer environment because it raises our consciousness and does not let worry, which is fear, into our consciousness. Jesus said, "In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." This means that you are of good cheer and will overcome the world. Be of good cheer and you will overcome everything. People do not take this literally. They take their worries literally. Being of good cheer is a magical thing because one can immediately bypass all obstacles. Baba within us is helping us in our efforts to disentangle from the world, and we must accept the divinely magical effect of his overcoming of the world in us, which is his grace. Jai Baba, that's the
Beautiful.
best part I've heard.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
I have to share. I love this thing that Erich Jesuala, simple and natural. Well, I woke up this morning. I really love this. It just helps my being to go through it in my mind. And I remembered it upon waking, and it was so good. I just felt happy that I remembered it at that point. Life is a joy with him. Without him, it is not. Joy is living with him. This is the new life. You're living from the heart, not the mind. He is the deeper self. There is no one to love except yourself. The self is God. Love yourself more and more. This is your inner being. I think Betty Grant had this. It was one of the things she loved, and I thought that is so good. And it's just I keep it with this picture of Eric. He's sitting on the threshold of Mandalay Hall. You know, it's just my cup of tea. You know.
Yeah, thank you.
And Laurice?
Well, it reminds me of Monty. Some stories, and I can't remember where. Probably in Heather's book, but where she would be upset and then immediately had to change in front of people to be cheerful, and just the power of this. And then, of course, I think I have this quote right by Baba. It's infinitely better to hope for the best than to fear the worst.
Yep.
It's not a little bit, infinitely better.
Yeah. No, it's a powerful aphorism. Well, it's a powerful truth that can become an aphorism. Yeah. There was a quote that Erich had by his room. It's really from Ramakrishna. The world is a mixture of good and bad, sugar and sand. Be an ant and take the sugar.
Page 86. Let's see.
Keep your spirits up. Initially, we are bogged down with worry. We must strive to be cheerful. Start with a cheerful face, a light heart. It is up to us to make the choice to be cheerful. Allowing cynical and negative thoughts to enter our consciousness lowers our spirits and contributes to low self-esteem. And getting involved in the petty things of life leads to depression. In a certain sense, we must ignore the petty things in life that keep getting thrown at us. We do what we must, such as carry out our duties and continue to pay our karmic debts. But we must choose to have an attitude of cheerfulness while doing them. The formula, don't worry, be happy, is the key to happiness. In other words, you trust the master to provide everything. By following such a simple formula, great changes are brought about. It puts us on a spiral to a higher level of freedom. Simply by keeping cheerful, a centrifugal force is created which repels negative forces. It changes our focus from the conditional level of all the opposites and everything being dependent on one condition or another, and we become free of worry. I recall in 1952 witnessing Baba's parting with Kitty Davy, one of his close Western disciples, when he suddenly informed her that he wanted her to remain at the newly established Mayor Spiritual Center and help its director, Elizabeth Patterson, instead of going back to India with him. He made a simple hand gesture, fingers joined, hand and arm moving straight up, meaning, keep your spirits up. We must do all we can to keep our spirits up, our self-esteem high, and allow Baba to work through us. So accentuate the positive no matter what. Refuse to allow worry to dominate your thoughts and feelings. Instead, allow happiness to predominate so that you are programming happiness. And I'm just reminded of a very brief quote I heard from a person who appeared to be very wise, sort of what you would call a light worker. And she said, remember this, the light has already won. Whatever darkness has to come up, whatever we are faced with in the world or in our lives, the light has already won because the plan is perfect and that's how it's playing out. And that really made I'm remembering that. Anytime I see anything negative, the light has already won.
Yeah, beautiful, great. There's a lovely question that Einstein said. I don't know if I have this worded exactly right, but he said the most important question to ask yourself is, do you find the universe a friendly place? Wait, Stu, you probably remember. What is that exactly? Do you find the universe, a friendly place? That tells you a lot about where you are inwardly.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact words, but I think that the gist was that's the primary question to ask yourself.
Do you find the universe a friendly place?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a great affirmation. If you're not there, if you move to there, you'll have a richer life. Hey, let's read this last little bit here, because it's just a short thing, but there's a nice little example that Darwin gives there.
Causeless cheerfulness. Aim toward causeless cheerfulness, which is bliss. It is our real state, and it is our destiny. Abba says that bliss exists everywhere. Everything is bliss. If you want causeless cheerfulness, allow it to predominate within yourself by lifting your spirits and being cheerful. This is a step in the right direction. I once knew a middle-aged man who had a humble job at a supermarket. He would often say, "I'm always cheerful even when I'm miserable." Detachment such as this man had is an essential part of attaining causeless cheerfulness, but it is something that happens automatically, and we should not concentrate on it. Instead, get attached to real bliss. Keeping our spirits up, being of good cheer, elevates our consciousness. It changes the illusory environment of our minds. It lifts our spirits up to our heart and illuminates the heart center. And if it is carried out seriously, it brings us into the kingdom of God. We begin to think in terms of timelessness rather than existing on a timeline. We experience a sense of fulfillment and completeness. We come to realize that we are spirit.
Yeah. I like that. I'm always cheerful even when I'm miserable. There's a great truth in that.
It's a practice, isn't it? It's not to force it, but it's to remember it and to try. Even I remember when I was taking Tai Chi, I remember the teacher saying to try to keep a smile, an inner smile, and that actually changes your everything, even in your organs, your endorphins. Just a little teeny smile, I thought, well, I don't want to force myself to smile, but he said to me, yeah, force yourself to smile, just take the position, just do it, and it'll change you. And at that moment, I realized that I wasn't not being genuine. I was practicing a skill. I was being taught skills and how I could transform myself using my body, my mind, my energy. And that really opened me up. I think became more aware of that dynamic, So you can do anything. This morning I listened to, when I was a kid, I was in a horrible, dysfunctional, depressive environment. Horrible. And I remember fighting it and not winning. And somehow I discovered hardcore gospel music, and I used to hide and get the music and play it on this old record player under my bed. I had a bed on the floor, mattress. And today I revisited that in honor of Mother's Day. And there's a song called "He's All Over Me and He's Keeping Me Alive," and it's really up. It's packed with, the minute the lyrics start, it's packed with spirit, and that used to change me. And so I did that most of the morning, and I was flying. I could just feel Baba embracing me. And it's a little teeny thing like that, you know, so you can find little ways. Everybody's so different. It's so beautiful to find what resonates with you and to use it and transform yourself. Just use whatever you can. Hey, Baba.
Yeah, thank you, Heidi. Great. You still have to do that under the blanket?
Just for fun. No, I don't. I actually did it on a walk, and it was lovely.
Yeah, beautiful.
And Rosalie?
We're kind of in a time when, if you could get a good one-liner, say if you were a stand-up comedian, it's kind of the thing that people could do to be successful, be a stand-up. Well, I found a line of Baba through Marina Machiavelli, and it is just so good. Of a one-liner about how things are, and it says, "Love makes fast progress through its unbroken action of divine light." And I was very mischievous. When I could go to chai time at the center, I'd come up to someone and I'd say, "You want to hear something good?" And I'd say my one-liner, "Love makes fast progress through its unbroken action of divine light." And I got, mostly from men would say, "I have to think about that." I said, absolutely don't think about it. No, this is not to be thought about. And anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like a perfect line because, you know, I mean, Bao brought up about 3/4 of the world going to be destroyed. I mean, that's a little, it's a little spooky.
Yeah, as long as you're
not
in the 3/4.
Well, yeah,
hey,
but yeah.
Let's have any last minute things, or we'll have a few moments of silence.
These words of Darwin are a strong encouragement.
Yeah.
That we have mechanical thinking, that we are mechanical thinkers, and he's encouraging us to let go of the programming. It doesn't happen by just wishing it or even praying for it. Stuart and each one of us said some beautiful things along this line. Stuart said, in his own special way, Baba says, "Remember me, remember my name, with love." That's extraordinary affirmation. It is affirmations. A lot of the things that are said of encouragements of the reading are affirmations. I'm thinking, I look at my mind. I ask you to look at your mind. How often are you in the past with your thoughts or in the future with your thoughts? When you read those affirmations, it's about being present. There are two beautiful books on affirmations by two women I read 30, 40 years ago. They're beautiful books. And if you really want to get a really simple, profound, very lovely guidebook, one is called Creative Visualization. Creative Visualization is maybe 120 pages by Shakti Gowain, Gowain. I went to one of her workshops a while back, decades ago. Creative Visualization. It's all about affirmations that are exquisite, and you visualize within your mind what is how you want things to manifest. The other book is by Sandra Ray called You Deserve Love. In this book, Sandra Ray has beautiful, beautiful affirmations. When Baba says to me and says to you, "Love me more and more," I do my best to think of Baba's name. Baba, Baba, I love you, Baba, Baba, I love you. However you want to express that to kind of change it up a little bit, because sometimes saying Baba, Baba, Baba may need to be kind of shifted around a little bit with different words so you really stay focused. Very challenging. The ultimate affirmation, saying Baba's name. I mean, if you have any doubt about if they work.
Yeah.
I'll say this last thought because I know there's at least one person who would doubt about it. I also doubt about affirmations for a very, very long time. Affirmations? I have to work and use affirmations? A friend of mine gave me some affirmations he typed on sheets of paper, and I looked at them on my dining room table for 6 months, and then I started working with them. And it was amazing. 3 weeks later, that affirmation manifested one of the most important experiences of my life. And I can just say the ultimate affirmation is being with Baba in his name. I mean, he says, love me, be with me, make me your constant companion. The affirmation of affirmations, Baba, Baba, Baba. With the love that we have for him and the love he has for us. It's all about vibration with the name of Baba. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jai Baba, everyone. Jai Baba.
Let's have a few moments of silence before we go on. Jai Baba. I think Bill might have a song. Wherever Bill is, there he is.
Well, I've been trying to do songs that were sung and requested and loved at Darwin and Jane's meetings. And I remember this week that I'd omitted one of the most loved songs, which is one we all know, and that's Amazing Grace. So I'd like to sing it and invite you, you know, in your muted states if you want to sing along. And I've got this very ancient sheet here that's all, the pages are all dog-eared, and I saw at the bottom a verse handwritten out there, and at the bottom in parentheses it says Ericos and the word S, and then everything else is bitten off or chewed off. Maybe I was hungry and ate part of the page one day. But I'm getting the feeling that Eric Nadel wrote this verse, so I'm going to add that in. Okay, so. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace hath taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. His grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. The ends of earth are in your hands, the seas dark, deep, and far off lands, and I am thine, I rest in thee. May Hercules come and rest in me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm I see.
Thank you, Bill. Beautiful. Yeah. Were there any lingering thoughts that before we go on to the heart-centered meditation?
Hi, it's Cindy on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, Cindy.
Hi,
yeah.
everybody. Nice to me on the phone. Hi, beautiful people. What I've been feeling this whole time that I've been listening is like just Baba saying, like what was said, we have the same power within us. That whatever visualization or affirmations are, whatever it is, like aligned with him, the light will always win. Like, I love that. Like, the light will always win. We're aligned with him. And I've been feeling this dissolution of fear about making a mistake. What if I make a mistake with this or make a mistake with that? And then I thought, oh, and then Bill singing that song just now was just the greatest, beautiful gift. And then, of course, now Stuart. I mean, it's just an abundance of blessings today. So I just wanted to thank you and everybody.
Good. Nice to hear you, Cindy. Back in there.
Thank you.
I see Katie there, and I saw William.
Yeah, they wanted to say hi. I've been enjoying listening to everybody, but come here, guys. If you want to say hi, come here quick. Hi.
Hey, William. Nice to see you. Jolie,
There's Jolie.
Oh, look you're getting as tall as your mom. Oh.
The dog wants to say hello.
Oh, the dog too. She's a little lower. I don't know if I can get her on screen. Anyway, nice to see everybody.
Yeah, that looks like a very fun house.
Yeah, a lot of life here.
Yeah.
Jay Baba.
Yep, Jay Baba.
Hi, Jeff. It's Diane and Terry.
Yeah.
We're driving. We just are coming home from a Mother's Day brunch. And just saw a mural on a building that said, "Life is like a cell phone. What you need is already in your hands."
Beautiful.
Felt like
That's mingling the two worlds, the spiritual and the digital. Well, let's see. So Stu, Stu has slipped out briefly. Yeah. But
hey, can Bill do that song, "This Little Light of Mine"? I'm gonna let it shine.
Where is Bill? Okay.
Let me if I can find it. I wrote some Baba words to it, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that was a guess on my part.
I'll see if you like it or not. I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't reviewed these words. Let me just give it a shot, okay? I can cable up one here.
Thank you.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna raise it up one, sorry. Scratch and gravel there. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Bowed at your feet, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Bowed at your feet, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Bowed at your feet, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Begging bowl in hand, I'm gonna let it shine. Begging bowl in hand, I'm gonna let it shine. Begging bowl in hand, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Holding to your diamond, I'm gonna let it shine. Holding to your diamond, I'm gonna let it shine. Holding to your diamond, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. With a song in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. With a song in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. With a song in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Actually, I rewrote that a little bit because I thought, reading about Mani's little talk about being reflectors of Baba's light and love, I thought, well, maybe we should sing "This Little Light of Thine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine." So.
Yeah. Hey, so we'll give it over to Stu. Anybody that wants to stay and dive into Baba's infinite ocean of love. Oh, Gabriella snuck in.
Okay. Oh, Jay Baba. If everybody could mute, that'd be nice. Welcome everybody staying on. So just close your eyes and just settle into wherever you're sitting or laying, possibly driving. And just let the world go even a little more right now. And start breathing into your belly. And bring your awareness to your heart and your heart center. And it's that home in all of us of Meher Baba's infinite love, which is actually in infinite supply. That valve is always open 24 hours a day. And just breathe in as you sink in there for a moment. And now pick someone, a person, possibly a group, who you would like to focus on sharing, sending Meher Baba's infinite love to. And get a good image of them in your mind and your heart. See them and feel them. See their heart and heart center. And notice whatever you might see and feel as you picture them. And now start to see and feel Meher Baba's infinite love flowing endlessly into their heart and heart center. And I see this wonderful, warm, kind of liquid golden light of love. And it's filling their heart and heart center completely. And this love is soothing, healing, giving, uplifting, enlightening, forgiving. This light has so many qualities, and we never know what magic it might bring. And now see this endless love, infinite love, overflowing from the heart and heart center of whoever you've chosen to focus on. And see and feel that love now flowing through and filling their entire being. There's not any part of them not being touched by this infinite love. And keep breathing in as you focus with the love, and know that this love from Baba can do wonders, and you're not trying to change anything yourself or bring about any happening. But this love can be magical. And now let's give thanks for being able to focus on Baba's infinite love and sending it to whoever you've chosen, focusing it, and know that you can return here again and again, anytime. And let's bid farewell for now. And gently turn and bring your attention back to your own heart and heart center. And breathe in as you settle in there. And take note of whatever you might see and feel. And now start to see and feel Baba's infinite love generously flowing into your own heart and your heart center, and filling every little corner and bringing healing and soothing, upliftment, enlightenment, and strength and courage, forgiveness, and as this love keeps flowing in, know that there's no end to it. And again, we never know what magic it might bring. And now start to see this infinite love overflowing from your heart and flowing right through. And now filling every bit of your being. And touching every bit of you and bringing all its wonder to every nook and cranny of you, every aspect. There's no part of you this love will not reach, and no end to the wonder it can bring. And keep taking a deep drink of this love for another moment or two. And now, still breathing into your belly, let's give thanks for being able to focus on Meher Baba's love, filling and bringing magic to our own hearts and beings. And again, know that we can return here again and again. This love is flowing 24 hours a day. And now gently start to bring your awareness back to your surroundings and wherever you're sitting or laying. And give yourself a few moments to come back. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And as we come back, if anybody would like to share anything, we'd love to hear from you.
I experienced Baba's love as very kinetic and vibratory. And I know we're eventually to go past pain and pleasure, but very pleasurable in my body, like a golden radiance. And the connection, like the connection with the people dissolving into just the oneness. And the feeling of being home, like what that means to be in that energy of Baba's love, of giving and receiving Baba's love, is the deepest feeling of being home. And there's so much vibration in my physical form too with this one. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Cindy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying that.
Hey, Baba, that was really beautiful. I hadn't been in my heart. It was good to go back into my heart. And I remember once being at the Samadhi and Baba said, "What's the cleaning duty?" And he said, "Your heart is closed." And it started really pulsating with Baba. And I went in the Samadhi and I off about something. And later telling people, I was like, "Baba, look who you've got here." And they said, "No, that's perfect. Put all that love in your heart," and it came right out to Baba in the Samadhi, the other stuff. And that was lovely. And I'm going to try. I felt this energy flowing all around me and flowing to people I was imagining, and I'm going to try to remember that tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Maybe the next day too. Thanks.
Yeah, very nice, Clarice. Great thing to carry with you.
Stu, I had the thought, because sometimes people come to the center and they've had a difficult relationship with their mother or father, say, and then they pass on and nothing was resolved. And I always say, well, they're still there. Their heart is always there. You know, you can, if whatever you send to them, they will receive. But I was thinking in this meditation, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be someone who is so-called living. It could be someone, you know, like a parent that you didn't quite make amends with. And this can fit right in with that.
It'd be wonderful, Jeff, yeah. And it's true. The heart and the soul still go on.
And there still is that give and take.
Yeah.
It can go on. Thank God.
Yeah. You know, some years ago, I'll share something. A friend was living in India, and she found out that her father was dying. He was in his 90s, elderly, back in the United States. And she said to me, would you go inward and try to tune into him? I'd never met him. And I said, is this okay? Is this okay with you? And I said, let me go inside with Baba and see if it feels all right. And she said it was fine with her. And it felt all right. And I just kind of tuned in with him, with Baba. And after several minutes, he became the essence of this little boy. And he started crying. And he said, I've wasted my life. I'm so ashamed. I've wasted my life. And I felt that he said that before Baba. And that it's like he came to that, call it a degree of reckoning in a sense. And I was able to share that with my friend, and it gave her some sense of peace. Because they'd had a difficult relationship. And that ties in, Jeff, with what you said. I wanted to share that.
Yeah, I mean, he came to the realization, a critical realization. That's a piece of knowledge, you might say, to know. Yeah.
No, it appeared very clearly, and it had a lot of meaning for her to hear that.
Yeah.
Was he still in the body then, Stuart?
Just, yeah.
And I think like what I feel in this moment, like from the eternal now, what a boon that was to his spirit to have that reckoning in the body.
Yeah.
For his future. What a blessing, what a boon.
Yeah, and I don't know, kind of stunning and humbling for me to witness that. And again, I felt that he did that before Baba. He knew who he was before. And he had that deep moment of honesty about how he had turned away from God, and that he'd wasted his life.
I think honesty is the main thing for me in this meditation.
Who? Can't hear who's... Gabriella?
It's Gabriella. Yeah.
Yeah, can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
Yeah.
Good.
Get closer. Can you hear me?
Better, yeah.
Okay, I don't usually use this computer, but the essential truth of the nature of the person you're focusing on shows in the essential truth of the moment with that person shows, and the essential truth of the relationship with that person shows. And then I just know it to be true. It's not like I have to wonder or just certainly not create anything. It's just like I'm watching, I'm there watching in Baba's love. And I do this for my whole family because we're in the process of losing my mom little bit by bit. And, each of us in the family has a different sanskaras and different essence. And I certainly didn't push anyone in there. I allowed them to just flow in as they could. And Baba's love surrounded everybody. And my mother was there, and in her essence, not in where she sits now, in her essential self. And lots of imagery, beautiful imagery, but also I wanted to just say, I felt that now Baba, my kitty is, that now Baba is going to sustain me and my mother. I can't sustain her, she can't sustain me. Baba will sustain us both. And these things came sort of as knowings, understandings. So it was really beautiful, and thank you so much for reading this. And also, I did a meditation right before I came to this. I did one of your Stuart Baker meditations from another day, but doing it live with everyone. It is different, and it is
Yeah.
wonderful because I felt the energy of everyone in the room.
Yeah, that. Thank you, Gabriella. No, there's been a real charge, I feel. Yeah, thank you. Great to hear that. And
I have.
Janet? Oh, Elizabeth.
Janet, no.
Yeah.
Yes. I just have a couple things to report. 2 weeks ago, I wasn't here last week, but 2 weeks ago, I did it for my brother. And interestingly, that night he ended up in the ICU. I mean, he had been sick, and I was doing it with him in mind. And that night he ended up in the ICU. And, you know, I won't go into I mean, he's much, much better. And he's out of the hospital and has been for a week. But I mean, I never questioned, but for a minute that wasn't what needed to happen. That, I mean, not what I thought was going to happen by any stretch of the imagination, but that in some way it may have saved him. And yeah, and so that was interesting to me because it's like it really showed me firsthand that it's when we're giving it to Baba's love, we're really like opening our hands and not and that. And today, what I mean, I won't go, when I was focusing back on myself, I was thinking about my mom, and I could really relate what you were saying, Gabriella, because I mean, my mom has been gone since 2011, but I was just missing her so much. And I had thought about her so much during our whole Effort and Grace today, because she was a very much an affirmation person, and Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking, and you know, unity affirmations and things like that. But in the midst of doing that, she did not really necessarily connect with her own feelings directly. She sort of, I mean, and that, you know, and later in life when she had dementia and things, it sort of became apparent that she had, I mean, I'm not sad that she was a positive person, or that she was very, that she maintained a cheerfulness. I don't get me wrong, but it brought up a question to me. And then when I was feeling my loss of her, I really went back to what you were saying, Jeff, in our Effort and Grace, how you were saying how you take and you bring the core of the feeling to your heart with Baba, and sit there with Baba with that core feeling, and how I really appreciate that perspective, that direction. I remember when you'd said that last time we were through the book, and then I'm glad to be reminded of it. But it is, for me, so today what I felt was, I felt sadness at missing my mother, you know, and of course the love behind that, and sitting with that in my heart with Mera Baba. And all of that was a very potent experience. So that's my
beautiful
contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks for sharing all that, Janet. And it sure doesn't sound like a coincidence with your brother.
Oh my God,
You know?
no. I mean, really,
Yeah.
that night, Stuart, not more than, you know, 7 or 8 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Remembrance with your mother too. Yeah, Jeff.
No, I was just saying that, yeah, that probably provides a lot of the inner strength that he needed to go through such a shocking experience.
Yes.
You know, just the kind of moral support, inner support, yeah.
Yeah, and who knows how Baba might have been there with him. You know, I would think he was.
Well, and I was there one day later. I drove up. He doesn't live here. I'm in Colorado. He's in South Dakota. I drove up the next day, and by I was up there with him, and I felt like I was just bringing Baba into the room with him. So, yeah.
Another dose. Yeah. Elizabeth.
Yes, it's interesting that Jeff was talking about people who had passed away. So I've actually had 3 mothers. So my first mother died my birth mother died when I was, I think, going on 10. And then there was a stepmother that didn't go so well. And then there was another stepmother, and she was my mother for 46 years. Anyway, so when I did the meditation this time, and I have no children, so Mother's Day is a weird one for me. I basically wish happy Mother's Day to all those who happen to be lucky enough to be mothers. Anyway, but what I did do, and maybe I picked this up from Jeff when he was doing his meditation, I sent that love to my previous mothers, my mothers who have passed away. And then I thought, I just am grateful to all those mothers in that long line, that heritage, the female heritage in my family. I don't even know all of them, but, going back generations. And I've never done that before. I have no earthly idea what that does or doesn't do. But anyway, I just sent it all the way back.
That's a great honoring and remembrance.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that what came to my mind, and I tried to make my efforts, and I tried to visualize Baba in this situation, was I went to Ahmednagar, into the home of Ashok Gadki and his wife Sheila and their 3 grown sons, who are in isolation in a house in Ahmednagar in India.
Yeah.
You may know Ashok if you ever went to the Station Road or the Christian bookstore on Station Road. It's a lovely, lovely Christian family. And I just tried to imagine Baba's love surrounding them. They're in a very big compound, and they're in a very sort of ramshackle house, but they're, like I imagine everybody else in the city, they're trapped inside in the midst of the summer heat. 2 or 3 days ago, I'd seen on the news that 10 people in one day in Nagar had died of COVID. So it's pretty serious there. So I just trying to, in fact, I was imagining Baba sitting with them in their little humble living room there, and trying to share some love in my own little way,
Yeah, beautiful, Bill.
Yeah, they were part of one of the stops in the early years when we were biking around.
Right, a one-stop shopping center for postcards, comic books, stationery, maybe books and things. Lovely, lovely man. They're part of the Marathi mission of the Indian Methodist Church, and the bookstore is still open, but it's just everything's sort of gathering dust there. I mean, they're just sort of hanging in. But lovely family, and in fact, their 3 sons are named Bonnie, Starsky, and Hutch. Hutch, I think those are the names, like movie characters, and they're just these great strapping guys. I remember, and anytime I'd go to Nagar, I'd go in and visit them, and of course bring the guitar, and we'd do some songs. And one time I remember being given a ride back to the Mayor Pilgrim Center on the back of Starsky's motorcycle with my guitar just perched in my hands and holding on for dear life with one hand around his waist. Really good folks. And they, they've had friends. They talked about having friends that have passed away from COVID.
Yeah.
Well, everyone here knows about the GoFundMe site, right? That Angela has put up. Okay.
Yeah. How's that accessible again?
Elizabeth?
What? They've raised $26,764 out of a goal of $27,000. There are 3 teams. Right now, one is a team that focuses on medical supplies like oxygen and masks, etc. Another team is focusing on food because a lot of people can't work because of the COVID. And this is happening in the Ahmednagar region as well as Mumbai. And Roshani's foundation, to which some of the funds go to, is going to be starting a hotline probably tomorrow. They're setting it up now to help people with prescriptions and setting up medical appointments and getting shots and all kinds of things. I mean, it's pretty devastating over there. And we're really lucky that we have this opportunity to, because it's direct access and direct contributions to the people who need them on the ground. And I just heard a news report tonight that the rest of the organizations, they haven't gotten all the supply lines set up yet from government institutions, etc. And there's a lot of hoops that need to be jumped through before that can happen. So,
could you explain how people can, if they're not aware of that, how to get in touch with that GoFundMe?
Well, basically, you just go to babazoom.net and you hit the button contribution. And if you go down, you'll see emergency fund underlined. Click on that and you get to the GoFundMe site. The other option is the Mayor Baba family email that Angela sends out. It's in that as well. And I'm happy to send it to Bill. I can forward it to you if you want me to. Huh?
I'm okay. I've been aware of that since day one. So
okay.
Maybe
okay.
Peter or somebody to know how to get in touch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Peter was trying to join in here.
Right.
Solomasi.
Also, I was trying to find that link. I've heard about it getting worse in India, and I want to find out some more details. Pandemic. I don't know. It's hard to wrap the words around and talk carefully about it. But I was going to get
Peter, you're breaking up.
To the meditation as well, because for me, what's that?
You're kind of breaking up a little bit.
All right, let me try. See if this helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking I've been looking at the calendar because it's been about a year since I last had communication with my sister. And to say it's bothered me is to say the least. And I've consulted lawyers and I've been consulted friends, and a friend of mine had said, well, a spiritual advisor told me that in his opinion she has not executed her she hasn't honored my mother's wishes and given me what she said she was going to give me. But I went ahead with the meditation this morning, and I also did it now. And there's a dynamic I think some people have where they're very, very driven. They're like uncontrollably driven. And one thing I get was a sense of interruption of anguish. It's like when I see her face while I'm doing this meditation, I can tell what I'm going to call like an interruption of anguish, where she gets into
You're
peace.
breaking up
And that's
still a
the
little
same thing
bit.
I've gotten from my father. All right. Well, I'm not. My internet connection is not very stable right now, so I don't know what more to do. Well, I'm going to try.
That's good.
Peter, maybe you can be sure to speak up so we can try to hear you.
I am. I'm trying to flow with this. It's disturbing to me because when I heard.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just do this.
When I listened to the Mondley, I think it was Adi K. Irani, he talked about family, like the value of family. He seemed to.
I can get, not yet.
Almost completely dismiss family.
This and get off of
either saying
the mic.
Either saying family.
Microphone.
Very, very dismissive. And the one thing I always wanted was to have that family, and I wanted to see what would happen come a year after not talking with my sister, and it was very, very disheartening. Not
external headphones.
Having any communication, quite frankly, I don't know what it would have been like.
What is it? Same as system?
Same as system.
Is that it? Okay.
Jeff, we hear you.
But I hit something down here. Webcam, HD webcam.
I'm just going to pass.
Oh, shoot.
Peter, I just wanted to try to understand the last thing you said. Can you just repeat the very last thing you said about trying to understand something with your sister?
Well, you know what? I'm just thinking. I asked Baba for some 3 weeks ago, and I'm still here. So I guess the answer was no. When I had listened to Adi, I think it was Adi K. Irani or Padre, they mentioned they were very dismissive toward them and was, a family of my own and a very content, happy family. And one thing, what did I say? It's just very, very disheartening that a year later, it's like my worst nightmare may be true. When I wanted to my sister said that I had a letter from my mother coming to me, that I had her ashes coming to me, and 5 figures coming to me of money. And I have seen absolutely zero of all the above, nothing. And after a year of waiting for this and being very nice and just given a couple points of contact as reminders, look, you remember I have this coming to me? Zero, zip, zilch. I wish I could be more pleasant about it, but I am just really in no mood to talk very. Help me out with this, would you? I don't think I could put much more coherence together without babbling. Maybe I should do a journal about it. And I wanted to be able to wish moms a happy Mother's Day more graciously, but I think this is the best I can do right now. So I'm just going to keep on plugging away because it's either that or what's the alternative? So I'm just going to pass.
Yeah, well, thanks. Maybe it doesn't sound like much, but I would say keep plugging away. And, just in wanting to connect with your mother, that's a good thing, and if you can see sending her the love and see what happens and see what you feel.
well, maybe I'll make this the last thing I say, is that when, Jeff was mentioning that quote by Einstein, it really makes, I don't want to completely dismiss the world, but it really, really, it gives me a very disheartening view of the world. It really does. It really does. In some saving graces for me have been Stuart Baker, Elizabeth, Jeff Wolverton. As he just disappeared. And a handful of other people. And somebody else, I'll remain nameless because it just gets my ire up. It's all past tense.
Well, we're still hearing you. And you have our
Hey, I muted.
Peter, when there's a life of a key member of a family that ends, it disrupts the family in ways that you may not anticipate. And that's often where a lot of problems pop up, and they can be very difficult. They can create divisions in family, it can do all kinds of things. I think, for me anyway, the only way to deal with something like that is to continue to love. It is, as Baba lovers, it's almost like a duty. The way to be of service is to continue to love and to not get disheartened. Again, to try to be cheerful, to do our best, to be loving, even if we fail. We just keep doing it, kind of like what Stu says in his meditation. Keep that golden sea of love, those bubbles of the ocean of love. Keep it flowing, let it keep bubbling over and over and over, and never tire of it. And it's just like the beloved God prayer. Beloved God, let us love you more and more and more and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you. And so to me, it is not to be discouraged if we fail. The important thing is to maintain cheerfulness in our heart and spirit as much as possible, to hold on to the Dhamma and to keep loving in spite of whatever happens. Even if things are painful to you, even if someone treats you badly, even if you don't understand it, even if someone is angry, even if you are angry, to keep loving is about the best one can do, is what I think. I don't know if that's helpful at all, but what I will do is I'm going to put you and your sister and anyone else you want to name in my blessing basket, which is my basket that was woven by women from Uganda, that I got a few years ago. And any prayer I have, I put in there. And my belief is that's covered whenever I pray about anything. So I will do that. And if you have other names of people, I'll put those people in too. And I've got Peter, his sister, his mother. I don't know their names. You tell me their names, I'll put their names in it. If you give me the names of anybody else, I'll put those in.
Well, you can say Lauren, Hilda, and Frank, and I'll keep it that simple because I have a long list.
Lauren, Gilda, and who?
And thank you. To me, it's...
I can't hear all the names. I've got Lauren and Gilda, and I think there was Franklin.
Beloved, the internet connection
just type it in the... Frank. Okay, you can type it in the chat too.
Yeah, and Peter, I'll add sending Baba's love to your sister and your mother also, as well as to you, which I have been.
Thank you. It just seems like there's always unrealistic expectations involved with it, but thank you. Right now, Elizabeth, you know what I'm trying just to love my damn self. I have this alarm in my phone. I almost wanted to show it to you, where it says 90 seconds of appreciation. And there's a book, Asking It Is Given, where it talks about how to raise vibration up. And to me, it's a very significant book because it sounds, some parts of it sounds a lot like God Speaks. It really does. And it talks about when you're feeling like at the lowest vibration, it's a struggle to work one's way up from that, which is where I'm pretty much at right now. So to talk about loving everybody else, I just, how many times can I take his name? How many times can I do Stuart's meditation? How many times can I say Bob is feeling this and that and still feel in the same crappy place?
Well, I don't know if that
By saying
helps.
thanks, but ciao.
You remember the guy?
And I know other people have it 10 times worse than me. So I feel like I'm a big baby. What's that, Stuart?
It was the guy mentioned in the meeting tonight who said he stayed cheerful even when he felt... What? The guy who stayed cheerful even when he felt crappy, right? He mentioned in the meeting tonight. So yeah, I'd say if you could possibly just sit and picture the love coming in and not think about it, not add thoughts, just picture the infinite love coming in. And I'll do that too.
And at the risk of sounding exceedingly selfish, I'm just going to say, as far as being cheerful in the midst of this, I'll pass. I'll pass. That's never been my comfort. It's never been my strength. I'll just pass on that and be a selfish Bob lover and be known to be a selfish, inconsiderate.
That is a lot of negative self-talk, and it's not, you know, we talk in the book tonight, it talked about programming. So maybe it's something that you can do differently. And instead of saying that, say, I am generous, I am loving, I am cheerful. And whether you believe it or not, just put all that aside and act as if, you know, use your provisional ego, act as if. And the other thing is, what I hear a lot in you, Peter, and I could be totally wrong, I hear a ton of anger. And I think that's getting in the way. And if there's a way to expel the anger, and I mean physically expel it, like chopping a log or anything that is physical. Anything that is physical, I think that would help get rid of some of it. And you might do, like if you're doing a run or a swim, you can create a Baba mantra to say in rhythm, so that your body and your mind are in rhythm, saying a type of meditation like the one in all and the all in one. I am in Baba and Baba is in me. I am happy and Baba is happy. Whatever you come up with, but something really short that has a cadence. And, I'm just throwing this out. I have no idea. I've never tried that, except I used to do mantras when I was swimming, and they were very, very relaxing when I did that. And the other thing is, though you're saying these things about yourself, Peter, you don't know. You could be veiled in some way. So what you're thinking of is not really you. Because for one thing, you're here. And that is a difference. So it may be different than what you think it is. Che Baba, and if any of this is helpful, great. And I'm just trying to speak from my heart, and I could be totally wrong, but I would like for you to feel better. And this is all I have to offer.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. My gut reaction when you were talking about witnessing and affirmations is, don't you think what makes you think I haven't done those things? What makes you think I haven't done those things in, I'd say, relative abundance? Right now, I'd rather just, I like people's experience. I mean, I know you mean well. Anger, of course. How many different ways have I tried to dispel this nonsense, and it's still here? So I'd rather just, you know what? I'd rather just be loved being in a shitty mood.
I can relate.
I just
to that.
rather people love me for being in a shitty fucking mood and just be. Hey, Pete, you're in a shitty mood. I love you anyway, man. Not say, well, this is what you got to take out. You got to take a lot of massive action to get out of the shitty mood. You can barely wake up in the morning. Anyway, thank you. I think maybe we should give up because I'm really not prepared to do much else right now. But scream or build something that I can't build. So thank you anyway. As I think people have hit the road, maybe they knew what was coming.
Well, you can embrace being in a shitty mood.
What was that?
Well, I'm going to sign off for tonight. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Stu, and God bless everybody here.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody too. Peter, I'll send you a message.
Me?
To Peter.
Oh,
Peter.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elizabeth,
Baba.
thanks a lot, Elizabeth. Jay Baba.
I just did my best.
Yeah.
Jay Baba.
Jay Baba.